30. Let's talk about habits. Question number 1. Do you have any bad habits? Yes, I have a few bad habits. One of my habits would be that I'm lazy and I procrastinate a lot. I always wait to the last moment to start something. So even if I have like 2 weeks to prepare for something, I would spend about 12 days just thinking about it, but not putting anything down on paper or typing it. And then in the final 2 days, stressing out, trying to complete it, even though I've had a full 2 weeks. So yeah, I procrastinate a lot. So like mentally, that's a bad habit that I have. Another habit, kind of disgusting, is like when I am trying to think or watching TV, I'll play with my toes and I bite my fingernails. Kind of if I'm stressed. I know it's kind of disgusting, but yeah. So like if I am not even just thinking and just have random thoughts or watching something, I'll chew on my fingernails a lot or play with my toes. So it's like kind of like a childish thing to do. And I still have not got rid of it, even though I'm an adult now. Question number 2. What kind of habits do you have when you're stressed? So like I said, a habit that I have if I'm stressed is actually, I'll bite my nails too. So yeah, like it just relieves it. As well as when I'm stressed, actually I try not to think about stuff. So like I'll watch like YouTube for 2 hours to take my mind off the thing that's stressing me. And usually when I watch YouTube, it could be any type of genre, cooking, comedy, action, even cartoons. So if I'm stressed out, I'll try to actually, change my mind, like change how I feel, as well as when I'm stressed too. And it's the evening, I feel the urge to go out and actually drink alcohol, just like to try to escape, basically to calm my mind. That's what I try to do when I'm even stressed. So either try to find some way to not focus on the stress, either by watching something or by going out and drinking alcohol and trying to talk about something else.
Yeah, hold on.
Question number 3. What is your first habit in the morning? In my house, actually, I take care of a cat. So the first action I would do in the morning is actually feeding my cat. My cat throughout the night while I was sleeping has been eating the food in his bowl. So usually when I wake up, his food bowl is empty. And even if I do sleep in late in the morning, he'll actually start crying that he's hungry. So absolutely, the first thing I have to do in the morning is to please my cat and putting food back in his bowl that he's emptied throughout the night. After that, I might either, depending on the day, if it's a weekday and I have errands to do in the morning, I'll either take a shower and get ready. If it's the weekend and I have nothing to do, then I would probably first check my KakaoTalk, do some stuff on my phone, so just sending out messages or watching YouTube. Really, if on the weekend I have nothing really planned in the mornings, so usually it's just relaxing. I also like to play some games in the morning, so just checking the daily quests for games that I play. And then also messaging my friends and finding what was happening throughout the weekend or weekday. Question number 4. Do you have a habit of drinking alcohol? What good habits do you most admire? This is a two-parted question. I do have the habit of drinking alcohol. I do it like I said, even if I'm very stressed, to just relieve the pressure that I'm feeling, as well as I drink alcohol to be social with my friends. The second part of this question, what good habits do I admire? Good habits that I admire are actually people that are diligent, that basically the habits that I have that I don't have, that are the opposite of my bad habits. So people that are diligent, hardworking, are very focused. I really admire those habits. I want to try and simulate them, but I always find myself falling behind, comparing myself to them. Another habit that I admire are now that I'm in my 30s, my friends that are raising kids, that they're able to balance their work life, their personal life, and raise these kids. And even how devoted they are to those children. I really admire that good habit, that they're just able to commit more than themselves to all the elements in their life. Okay. All right. Question number 5. How can we get rid of good habits? Well, that's a difficult one. Everyone's aware of their bad habits. So I think I read that wrong, so I'll do it again. Question number 5. How do we get rid of our bad habits? That's an interesting question. Everyone's aware of their bad habits because usually the people around you may tell you about them and it makes them uncomfortable. How do we get rid of them? It really involves a lot of change inside of yourself. So you have to really accept it and then figure out a way to adjust it. For me, a few years ago, I was actually not healthy. I had the bad habit of eating junk food and being lazy and not being active. It really took a big event when I started filming a children's educational show and seeing myself on the camera and seeing how fat I was and how much I didn't enjoy how I looked, for me to actually take a step and try to fix myself. So that even took me a few months there. I joined a gym and started being more active, but really it's a lot of things that were involved. It's not just simply changing one element, it's changing all the elements connected to this bad habit. So me being unhealthy and lazy, I had to be more active, but also I had to change my diet. I also had to kind of abandon negative friends that encouraged this bad habit and this bad lifestyle for me. So really what I'm trying to say is, like, if you want to change a bad habit, you can't just stop it, but you have to actually evaluate yourself and find out what connects this bad habit and what causes it. All the other elements in your life that cause this element. Number 6, have you ever been successful in getting rid of a bad habit? Like I said, a few years ago, I had a bad habit of being not active and lazy. So I could see it not only just physically, but also mentally. I didn't want to do things that involved lots of physical activity. But seeing this and actually being very disappointing and wanting to have change in my life actually caused me to get rid of this bad habit. So it took a lot. It took not just like myself, but actually encouragement from other people. I remember I was on the phone with my mother having a conversation while I was walking to class. And I was walking up some stairs, and my mother actually said, "Why are you breathing so heavy?" And I said, "Oh, I'm just walking." And I told her I'm walking right now. I just went up a few flights of stairs. And she was shocked. She was like, "Oh, you're not very active if you can't have a conversation with me and climb up some stairs without kind of being out of breath." So that encouragement from my mother caused me to actually start my healthier lifestyle and kick in the bad habit that I had of being lazy. Question 7. What unusual habit do you observe in your family members? Do they bother you? Well, I grew up with both parents, an older brother and a sister. All four members, excluding me, were actually smokers in my family. My father has quit smoking after 5 years, and that was even after doctor's advice and encouragement. So that was hard for him to actually quit smoking. He actually had to take a specific medicine that discouraged him from smoking. My mother still continues to smoke, so she's been smoking for 55 years. She's come to grips with this bad habit, and she's not really going to change it. My sister has quit smoking. She smoked for about 15 years herself. It took the birth of her first child to actually for her to quit smoking. And my brother still continues to smoke. I had tried for a month to pick up the habit of smoking. That was caused by peer pressure in school in my neighborhood. But unfortunately, I really dislike the taste of cigarettes, so I was not able to develop that bad habit of smoking. So it's when I go home, like my mother's still smoking, actually bothers me a lot because she does have a heavy cough, but she's come to grips. This is something that she'll never get over, and she enjoys smoking, and I just have to accept that, even though it makes me uncomfortable. But I guess, my family members, all four of them having that smoking habit and the negative effects that smoking does have really bothers me. Question 8. Which bad habit do you think would be the most difficult to get rid of, and why? For me, the bad habit I have would probably be my drinking, frankly speaking. Like, I do it too frequently. So I wish I could just possibly cut it down to only special events. However, the circle of friends that I have, they encourage this. So they're enablers. So unfortunately, I live in Korea. So the society and my group of friends, they enable me to drink more than I would really be comfortable with. So this would be something that would be very hard for me to get rid of, as well as I do like actually being social and drinking as a performer. For me, just to relax and actually practice and have conversation helps me either also be more productive in performing, like just behind the scenes, but also preparing and writing too. So for me, because there's so many different parts of my personality and my profession kind of tied into this one bad habit, for me to get rid of it would be very difficult. And it would also cause a great change in my life and future. I don't know how much it would affect that life, really. Question 9. Are we born with our bad habits, or do we acquire them from the environment surrounding us? There's a big conversation that it's like nature versus nurture. Is someone born that way, or are they encouraged over their life to be that way? There is the addictive gene. So people that enjoy an activity, either positive or negative, they become addicted to it. You could see that like in yoga, people that do yoga, or weightlifters, bodybuilders, they're addicted to basically the chemicals that they get from running or being physically active, the endorphins that the brain creates when you're exercising can be very addictive. And this is why you see people that are extremely fit and they are just set on this because they've become addicted to the chemical release that the brain gives and how happy they feel. Then there's the other chemicals that come with bad habits, like smoking or drinking. These two bad habits create different chemicals that people also get addicted to us. With the addicted, you have to be very careful because, there are people that are born with kind of the addictive gene that really enjoy something and then will continue to do this. But also, there's also the psychological bad habits that that you learn from your environment. So if you grew up in a negative society, possibly you also learn bad habits from that. So if you grew up if your parents were not active and kind of lazy, then that also might encourage you to be not active and lazy. So that's also the nurture that you get. You learn from your friends too. So another habit, a bad habit, would be swearing. Now we're all babies are born without a vocabulary, but our environment and the people that we are around might encourage different types of language and vocabulary. If you're with people that are very intellectual, you'll try to be the same as them and try to use very intellectual dialogue. However, if you're kind of with friends and they speak very colloquially, you might use inappropriate words, curse words, and that becomes also a bad habit. And then so that's a habit that you could learn from your actual environment, is just vocabulary, saying inappropriate things or being vulgar or cursing. So let's go down to part 31. Yeah. Hi, everyone that's watching this. My name is Jeff. I am from Toronto, Canada. I've been coming to Qualcomm now for 2 years now. It's an amazing environment. I've met so many important people here. The atmosphere is great and friendly. There's not just Korean people trying to learn the English language, but there's also international people here too, trying to learn other international languages. I've met people from China studying Korean that I've also been able to speak Korean with. There's also groups of people that are studying Spanish here as well. It's just such an amazing thing. That's why I've been coming here for 2 years. So if you're interested in meeting not just the local people in Korea, but also international people that have international interests and want to share their culture, you should come to Qualcomm.